Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful, empowered harmonizers. We are zooming in and focusing in on a great viewer question, and that is, how do you break free of the narcissist, the malignant narcissist, or perhaps this individual is a psychopath? How do you break free, Peace and Harmony? It's to understand that to break free of this relationship, to understand the dynamics, is to understand that to a certain degree there is a trauma bond in place in the relationship that makes it very difficult to extricate or separate yourself, distinguish yourself, define yourself, be who you are in your authenticity and your truth, your full sense of being, your wholeness. And unfortunately and sadly enough, a lot of people who have been in relationship dynamics with those who have been manipulative, controlling, who've pulled the wool over their eyes, who have reflected back less than who they are, who have tainted or tinged their message that you have to be like me, or the narcissist is better, they are superior, and that everything else pales or is dwarfed in comparison. That they will sort of infiltrate the relationship with that tone, that tonality, that emotion, or what you might call the insinuated meaning. And the reality, the truth is that you do not have to be like the narcissist. You do not have to be like the covert narcissist. You do not have to be like the malignant narcissist. You do not have to be like the psychopath. You do not have to adapt and adjust to their judgment profile, to their measuring stick. They'll make you feel that if you don't, all hell's going to break loose. You're not going to make it. You're not going to make it in the world. You're not going to be happy if you're not with me. That is a controlling insinuation that you cannot make it on your own. They will infiltrate the relationship with messages, i.e., that they are above and better than you. Just like you've got specific spouses or specific community dynamics, specific family dynamics, specific work dynamics where you really feel that you are crushed down underneath them. They will make you feel powerless, bad, unpresentable. Interestingly enough, the sign language for good is this, which means presentable, which means, presenting with your hands open, and bad means this. Bad, like you're crushing it down or covering it up like it is not suitable for view. That is sign language for bad versus good. How have you been treated? Have you been treated as if you are bad? Have you been treated as if you are unpresentable? Have you been treated as if you cannot think for yourself? Have you been treated as if you cannot have emotions, opinions, or feelings of your own? That they're inadequate, wrong, powerless, coming from the wrong place, etc. That usually is a mechanism where someone is trying to keep you under their thumb, like the good old Rolling Stones song, "Under My Thumb, the girl who once had me down." And then under my thumb, he got it under her. In other words, he no longer feels pulled down. He's got her under his control. It's like a spell. You do not have to be like the narcissist. You do not have to acquiesce or assimilate to their judgment. This oftentimes is very difficult because the manipulation of the narcissist oftentimes is founded in fear, false evidence appearing real, which then creates foggy thinking, distorted and lack of self-trust in the other individual. They don't have confidence. They don't develop self-reliance. They're not able to put one foot in front of the other, one word in front of the other, one thought in front of the other, one decision in front of the other. They experience a sort of a breakdown, an attachment disorder, and then this becomes a trauma bond. In other words, it creates a cycle of relationship that is founded in pain and promulgates or continues the pain in order to have manipulation. Pain is a very big controller. If someone is hurting you emotionally, they have control over you. If someone is overwhelming you with anger or hostility, they are controlling you. They are keeping you down. They are shutting you down at the free will. You have part of being a human being is having free will. There is also divine order, divine intelligence running through your life, running through your body, running through your experiences, running in through your nature. If you have ongoing cycles of abuse in which intermittent reinforcement or reward and punishment, it will create a very powerful bond. In other words, you're bad, here's a cookie. You're despicable, here's this and this. It's a trauma bond that creates a sort of feeling of loss of self-esteem. And it's an emotional bond that is oftentimes created and then infiltrates your thinking, your programming, your conditioning to reduce yourself and feel disempowered. And these cycles are oftentimes very resistant to change, which means you might try to change it, but then right away it doesn't change right away. This takes some work. Rome wasn't built in a day, I think is a great saying. Your healing is not going to be an overnight. It's not going to be a one-day process. If you can understand that and you can get that, then you will be in a much better position to stay the course. You have to break the cycle of the trauma bonds. You don't have to be like them, despite their message to the contrary. You are here to be your own person. Period. End of story. You don't oftentimes hear that in the news. You don't hear that, from your family. You don't hear that from your employer. You might not hear that from your community, but you need to hear it and you need to know it in your heart. Follow your heart. And so be very careful, because then people's their identity were sort of fractioned off. Splinter off, where they feel that they have to acquiesce or conform. Yes, to a certain degree, you have to learn lessons. You do have to learn, how to work your monetary system. You have to learn to obey the law for driving and other specific things. But you don't have to be like the way this controller makes you, perhaps earlier in your journey, feel that you have to be. You do not. You can detach from that command. You can separate yourself from the body-mind connection from that. A lot of people have lived their life according to those tenets, according to that blueprint. And some of that might have served you, some of that might not have served you. If it's, held you down or created a block, within your emotional development, meaning you can't live your truth, you can't, be who you want to be and have what you want to have, that becomes a problem. It becomes feeling that you have nothing, you don't own your own I am. You don't have precedence over your own life. And so it's very important to liberate that truth. And so, for example, a statement that you can then give yourself to help open it up. Even though it seems silly, I would really love to. So in other words, the presence of the malignant narcissist, it creates an internal censor. It creates an internal critic. Think of a critic. Maybe it's a movie critic, maybe it's a book critic, a critical advisor. This then becomes internalized. You have to understand that that is the nature of a human relationship when you're around a very ongoing, chronically controlling or manipulative individual, which for some reason they only feel happy when things move, when they say move, stop when they say stop, stand when they say stand, speak when they say speak, give me your opinion when they say go. I mean, as if you have then this creation of an external locus of control. This creates Dr. Craig Melkin, echoism behaviors or echoist relationships, where you only feel that you are living the echo of someone else's needs. You are just a manifestation or an extension of another person's needs. That is a narcissist paradigm where basically, everyone else is seen as an extension of them. They're not really seen as having their own right to life. Read the book by Kahlil Gibran. Kahlil Gibran is a interesting author and illustrator. I believe his book is called The Prophet. You can go ahead and take a look at that book, or maybe there's a book on tape that you can listen to for free here on YouTube. But the trauma bond is something that we can really, go into a little bit more in depth on different videos. But realize it's okay for you to be your own person. It's okay for you to have your own values. It's okay for you to have your own fascinations and things that you feel that you deserve or want in your life to make you more comfortable, happy, fulfilled. It's, your penultimate goal. And the control is oftentimes a problem. So you have to little by little release that hold over you. And it become gradual until you become working on it. But you have to liberate yourself away from the inner critic, the critical advisor, that internalized, what Freud might call the superego. Sometimes the problem is that the superego becomes out of balance. It becomes too much. It becomes overwhelming, constantly critical. Nothing is good enough. You don't feel good. You don't feel comfortable. You want to give up. What is its use anyway? People will abandon their efforts, their goals. This is a sad state of affairs. You need to be able to understand that you don't have to be like or acquiesce to the narcissist. Likewise, you don't have to live your life with a constant critical advisor that makes you feel that you're constantly being broken down, that you're making the right choice, you're in the wrong place, you're not good enough, you don't know how to think, you don't. Eventually, people that if they hear that long enough, they give up their voice. They just say, they surrender. And it's just like they allow this other person to rule their life. Yeah, to a certain degree, you do need, back and forth. You do need to be able to count on others, rely on others, and likewise, it's a two-way street. But when it becomes toxic, when it becomes too much, when you don't feel that you have a right, you don't have your personal rights, you don't have your right to pursue happiness, which is unique for you. You don't have to be a cookie cutter of someone next door, down the road, down the street, at the school, at the shipyard, wherever it is. You can be your own person, and that is your design, that is your desire, that is your inalienable right. And really, the God wants you to honor this higher order thinking. What makes you happy? God wants you to be happy. God does not want you to be miserable. God does not want you down and out, with your head hung over, feeling miserable. That is not God's plan for you. God wants you to live your truth and to be set free. Sometimes you need to know how to set yourself free. And that is okay, but the narcissist oftentimes will not give you permission to be as such. So you can't look to them for the permission. You have to realize that you might need to release the critical inner advisor to experience what makes you happy. Even though it seems silly, I would really love to. Even though it seems outrageous, I would really love to have. Even though, and then write 1 through 20, and have an open page. Even though the narcissist has battled me on this, it's really important for me too. Even though the psychopath has battled me on this, I would really love to. Because oftentimes there is no winning with a narcissist or a psychopath, a malignant narcissist, someone who resorts to these things and this personality disorder, because they are very, very competitive. It is all about the win. They want to be right. It's just part of their wiring. It's part of their personality. And that's fine and dandy. That's fine and dandy for them, but it doesn't mean it has to deny you of doing what is right for you. And that is okay. You don't have to hold yourself to the same standards. You might have higher standards for yourself. You might have a higher goal. You might have a specific boundary that you need to honor. I would really love to have, maybe you would really love to have a private yoga teacher. Maybe you would really love to have a private physical therapist. Maybe you would really love to have a butler. Maybe you would really like to have a maid. Maybe you would really like to have a chef. Maybe you would really like to have a room where you can do a painting. Maybe you would like to rearrange your room with different art that is meaningful and uplifting and significant to you. Maybe you would like to read specific books or pursue specific topics that the narcissist had told you was stupid, dumb, not for you, not going to get you anywhere, but you still, really in the privacy of your heart really love. Even though I've been criticized for it, in the privacy of my heart, I would really love to. This is your heart. You need to be able to listen to it. But if you've been, surrounded by and inundated and overwhelmed by people who are controlling, critical, creating a trauma bond, you oftentimes aren't liberated in the way that you could and should be. You need to acknowledge this as a fact or truth. The truth will set you free. Why is this such a prominent statement? Why do so many people say that? Would you like to be free? Yes or no? Would you like to follow the desire of your heart? Yes or no? Would you like to stay in a trauma bond? Yes or no? Would you like to continue your life in unhappiness? Yes or no? Would you like to continue your life in happiness and feeling okay? Yes or no? You need to be able to acknowledge and fill in these blanks for yourself. You need to be able to also understand how this registers within you uniquely as a person. People have their own meanings, and this is the beauty of the fabric of humanity. To me, every unique culture person, they're bringing something to the table. They're bringing something to the party. Why would I want to have everybody at the party look like me? That wouldn't make any sense to me. Wouldn't you like to have someone over here, bringing this, someone over here from here bringing that, someone over here bringing this? Why can't we have different people? Why are others so threatening to the narcissist? Why do they have to be a bully? Because you could grow and show them with integrity and authenticity who you are. Oftentimes that is a direct threat to the narcissist because there is a conflict of interest. Your happiness to them interferes with their happiness, so they don't want to hear from you. They don't want to hear your laughter, your joy, what you have to say, what you feel, your story. That becomes a problem. that it becomes a problem for you and not a problem for the narcissist. That is the problem with the dynamic. So that's why often people cave in, give in to the demands or the values of the narcissist, because they will have it no other way. They are black or white thinking. There is no shades of gray, and they don't want to see the rainbow or the spectrum. What are you bringing to the party? What are you bringing to the table? Not what the narcissist is bringing, not what the psychopath is bringing, not what the borderline is bringing. You bring your own gifts. Period. End of story. Raise your hand and say, I bring my own gifts. And say it with confirmation, confidence, and authority. I bring my own gifts. I bring my own gifts. I bring my own gifts, and that is good enough. This is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help. Please share, please subscribe, and please donate for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support. Peace out, have a beautiful day, and peace be with you. Live your truth.